Now, back to the awards. You've also made the Marketing Week Top 100 CMO list and the Campaign Power list. I don't know how much crossover is in those two lists. Have you done the maths on it?
I've never done it. It's always a great group to be with. Actually, one thing I love is it's a small world in marketing, and the number of people I meet who I either used to work with or I've met in the industry who I genuinely count as really good friends now. It has a family feel to it, and but it is very much what goes around comes around. I'm very glad that over the career I've had so far, I've met amazing people and always parted on really good terms with everyone and built relationships up. So it is a fantastic network of people. I mean, the number of WhatsApp groups with things like the Marketing Academy and the Fellowship where swap ideas and, someone who could help with this or an agency for that. It's a great network. So yeah, every year again, it's something I never take for granted. And this year with Campaign, we got to do a photo shoot as well, which was great to meet other CMOs and be in a Hollywood-style photo shoot. I've never had that before. It was one of the only times my kids were impressed when I brought Campaign magazine back. They went, "Oh, that looks good." So, yeah.
So tell me, what is the secret to a Campaign Power 100 CMO?
So I think the CMO job these days is so much more exciting than what a marketing director would have done when I started my career in the mid-1990s. So marketing directors of old in the 1990s, and I take from my experience British Gas, so others may have had a different experience, but yeah, heroism was you had a fantastic brand campaign. So British Gas, it was right. We need to go to South Africa and we're going to film this ad. It's all about the heroism of the ad. And if you worked on data-driven or when digital was starting, those were sort of, well, that's really interesting, but it's over here. What's so exciting now is the CMO job is about so much more than that. I think it's about being part artist still. So you still need to appreciate great creative work. So actually, you will have those great brand moments. You need to know what you're doing. You need to know how you create great content. But you also need to be part scientist now as well. You need to be all over the numbers, what's working, what's not, how you measure it, how it links to how your business works and operates, and how your business drives growth. Because then you can properly be commercial. So I don't think as a CMO you can be just purely creative now. You've got to bring in that science as well. And then you asked me this brilliantly a moment ago. You need to be part, I think, almost like a voice of marketing in the business. You need to be a champion within that business to champion and communicate what you're doing and what you're about. Because if the business is spending or investing money in what you do, you need to be super clear what it's doing and the value it's driving and the difference it makes, particularly during challenging times like we're facing into collectively as a nation at the moment.
I think it's fascinating people's perception of what a CMO does versus what they actually do. I remember being asked it when I was doing a CMO role on Lucasade, and I said, well, actually, what I do annual plans, I do people planning, I do strategy, I do commercial, I have to go and present to Tesco and Boots as well, or I might be doing pricing. And I've worked out, I probably spent between 5 and 10% on the marketing, or what people like to call the marketing. This is the kind of fun, communication and PR and stuff like that. But And sometimes as a CMO, you're not even the best marketer, in terms of the traditional sense, but you bring other skill sets. But so how does a CMO role differ maybe to how people might perceive the role?
There are those moments, aren't there, when you kick yourself and you go, wow, I'm now here filming this Christmas ad and it's amazing, and filming it in September. But you're right, those moments aren't in the job all the time. A lot of it is managing tightly the day-to-day. For me, the way I like to run the team is to unleash people's potential. So we set a framework together where we're trying to go as a team, but at no point am I ever trying to micromanage what's going on. It would just be impossible in a business like Boots. It's also not my style, but also what I'm loving is seeing talent kind of pour through the team, amazing people just be unleashed to be brilliant. That's what it should be as a CMO. And you're right, it becomes less about the hands-on in what you do. It's about the orchestration of finding amazing people, harnessing amazing people, and just letting them be amazing. Let them be brilliant. Let them flourish, let them grow, and then everyone succeeds, and create more and more moments for them to succeed. And then you're there providing the strategic oversight, the direction, and hopefully then dealing with, as you say, some of the more difficult, tougher questions or challenges behind the scenes, so the team can just get on and deliver and be amazing every day. So it is quite liberating. I found it, when I first took on a CMO job, there was that scary moment of, I'm a bit less hands-on now. But when you get in the groove, you're like, no, this is actually amazing, because it does allow people to be brilliant. It means together we can thrive and succeed.
I remember the dawning moment for me where we worked with Anthony Joshua on Lucasade Sport. And what a tremendous guy to work with. It was amazing. But I remember the moment for me was we did this brilliant film, a 90-second film of his life. And it was that moment where I realised I wasn't getting invited to the photo shoot because I was like too seen. I basically got to sign the brief off. I got to pay for it, and then I get to do the internal comms, but I didn't get the fun of actually I think I might have got invited to the editing suite for the final edit. That was, I think I almost forced my way into, can I, take part? But it's that switch, isn't there? You realise you go from the practitioner, the person that's making the work, doing the campaign, developing the MPD or whatever. And then your role changes quite dramatically, doesn't it? Where it's more about the team, it's more about the strategy, it's creating permission for other people and that sort of thing. It's quite different. I saw this post the other day, actually. I thought it was quite funny that people were saying, well, there's 4 Ps for everyone, but there's 6 Ps for the CMO, and the extra 2 Ps are politics and persuasion. And I thought, that's about right, actually, isn't it? Because you're navigating the organisation, you're representing marketing, navigating the organisation, and trying to persuade people like you do with the CFO rather, to make stuff happen. It's a big part of the role, isn't it?
It's huge. And I in my insurance days, I was doing a global CMO job, and I would go to the board once every 2 months to share our progress. And I thought, I wasn't cocky, but I thought this is going all right. And I was being mentored by someone, and I went to them and said, how's it going? And I expected them to go, oh, yes, that's all right, Pete. And I said, you know what, Pete, actually, you keep trying to persuade us you're good at marketing. If you weren't any good at marketing, you wouldn't be in the job. You need to show us you're a great, bigger leader. And it really struck me that, you know what, actually, when you get to that CMO level, people aren't there going, does he know what he's doing in marketing? They're there for your wider contribution to the business. So part of also the CMO role, and I think at any point you get to a certain level in a business, is you've got a wider contribution. So what's your voice on diversity, equity and inclusion, HR and culture, the direction IT's going in, where we're going operationally, what products we sell, what brands, you need to have a voice on all those bits. You don't sort of sit and go around the table and go, I'm just waiting for the marketing bit. Actually, you've got a voice on everything, because marketing isn't always going to be on the executive agenda.
So true. I remember the first time I was on a board, actually, and I looked at the agenda on our first board meeting, and there was 45 minutes at the end of the day for the marketing update. I was like, oh, what am I going to do for the other 7 hours of the day? And then you realise it was kind of people issues, or the factory's broken down, or we've got an insurance issue, or what's our 5-year strategy, and where are we with talent, and a range of fascinating. How do we finance the business, and we're running out of cash, and our loan notes are expiring, and we've got to go to the bank, and it's incredible. Actually, you realise that you suddenly become involved in the business. Really not marketing. As you say, you represent marketing, but you're actually in the business, running the business. It's quite a change, isn't it? And I think anyone that I've ever coached or talked to about that step up, it's always been about the non-marketing skill sets. Do you understand finance? Can you build teams? Can you kind of address business issues and contribute? Unique point of view and that sort of thing.
Well, those are the bits I think for anyone who's listening to this or watching this who wants to become a CMO, that'd be one of the biggest bits of advice I'd give them is go and get that groundwork in now. Don't stay in a silo in your job. Reach out to finance, reach out to get to know the business you're in, be as commercial as you can, because then you'll be in a better place to have an opinion when you're on that journey and you get there. You're more ready-made for that job.
Yeah, I remember being wound up, actually being interviewed for a CMO role. And the interviewers were asking me a lot more about finance and a lot more about legal and those sorts of things. And it's true, isn't it? Because actually, you're not auditioning to be the best marketer in the team. You're auditioning to be a member of the exec and helping run a business and represent marketing, but also the business is quite different. I noticed you do quite a lot of mentoring. So, just building on that conversation, really, what advice would you give to somebody maybe earlier in their career, starting out, they're looking at Pete Markey thinking, that's what I want to be when I grow up, sort of thing. What advice would you give to them as they look at kind of progressing in marketing?
Biggest bit of advice I give is around be curious. Be curious about the business you're in. Find out how your business makes money, how marketing contributes, the role you can play, and get to know that business inside out. And don't just become a good practitioner either in the broadest sense in marketing or just in marketing, but commercial in its broadest sense. That would be the greatest thing, I think.